Okay, let's jump right into today's explainer, where we are unraveling a fascinating and, frankly, life-saving medical mystery. We're going to look at three completely different patients who all shared one very dangerous assumption, an assumption that almost cost them absolutely everything. Picture this. You've got a 50-something woman with constipation, a 50-something man with hemorrhoids, and a 70-something man with zero stomach issues whatsoever. So, what on earth ties them together? Well, the answer is pretty shocking. None of them, and none of their families, ever suspected they had colon cancer. Why? Because they each had a perfectly normal, totally plausible explanation for exactly how they were feeling. They genuinely thought they knew their bodies.
Case 1. The constipation trap.
Right, so our first patient was a generally healthy woman in her 50s, but she had dealt with constipation her entire life, literally since childhood. She was completely used to it. She'd even been drinking senna tea for decades just to manage her digestion. For her, it was just a normal part of everyday life. So when her constipation got a bit worse over the course of a month, and she started feeling a little bloated, she wasn't alarmed at all. She just told herself, hey, it's just my usual constipation, assuming she probably just needed a stronger prescription medication at this point. But here is the crucial takeaway. It's what doctors call the delta, or the change. It wasn't her lifelong constipation that raised a red flag. It was the subtle, unfamiliar shift away from her normal baseline. The slight bloating, the worsening condition over just 1 month, those things were entirely new.
Because she assumed it was just her usual issue, she delayed getting screened. And when she finally did go in for a colonoscopy, doctors uncovered a terrifying reality. They found a large tumor in her sigmoid colon, relatively close to the exit, that was dangerously close to totally obstructing her bowel. Ultimately, she had to undergo major surgery to have it removed.
Let's move on to case 2, the hemorrhoid myth. Now, this patient was a man also in his 50s who had been diagnosed with hemorrhoids years prior. For him, seeing a little bit of blood in the toilet after going to the bathroom was basically a routine occurrence. It just didn't scare him because, well, it was a known issue. So when he went to the clinic, he was really just going in to get those hemorrhoids checked. He figured, it's probably just my hemorrhoids acting up again. And he rationalized this, even though he was actually having way more frequent bleeding, mucus-like stool, a weird feeling like he hadn't fully emptied his bowels, and noticeably thinner stools. And this perfectly illustrates a trap so many of us fall into. We naturally think bright red blood equals harmless hemorrhoids. But the dangerous reality is that cancers located close to the exit, like in the rectum or the sigmoid colon, they also bleed bright red. Sadly, a colonoscopy revealed the grim truth. He had advanced cancer in his rectum, located just 10 centimeters inside. This case is absolute proof that dismissing awkward new symptoms like thin stool or mucus as just hemorrhoids acting up is an incredibly risky assumption to make. Which brings us to case 3, the silent anemia. This case is wild. We have a man in his late 70s who felt totally fine digestively. I mean, no pain, no constipation, no visible blood whatsoever. But a routine health checkup flagged unexplained anemia. His doctors immediately did a stomach endoscopy, thinking, okay, maybe it's a stomach bleed. But they found absolutely nothing wrong. The crucial missing piece, he hadn't had a colonoscopy in roughly 20 years. And that massive gap created a huge diagnostic blind spot for his medical team. To understand why, you have to look at how stealthy right-sided colon cancer is compared to the left. On the left side, stool is solid, right? So tumors cause blockages and visible bleeding. But on the right side, the stool is still liquid. That means tumors can just grow and grow without blocking anything, and the bleeding mixes in completely, invisibly. The only real manifestation is anemia, unexplained fatigue, and maybe some shortness of breath. Because of that unexplained anemia and his recent fatigue, doctors finally performed a colonoscopy. And the reveal? They found a hidden tumor deep in the right side of his colon, just silently bleeding away and causing his blood counts to plummet. So let's look at the real warning signs. Bloody stool, persistent constipation or diarrhea, thinner stool, unexplained anemia, unexplained weight loss, persistent bloating, or a family history. Listen, if you experience any of these signs, especially if they feel like a strange new discomfort or a shift from your normal baseline, that is a signal from your body crying out for medical attention. Do not just explain it away, because early detection saves lives. The absolute biggest takeaway from this explainer is the sheer power of acting early. Age 40 is your critical milestone. If you are over 40 and you've never had a colonoscopy, it is absolutely time to strongly consider scheduling one with a specialist just to establish your baseline. And here is why that matters so much. As the doctor noted for our first patient, the one with the lifelong constipation, finding these tumors even 5 years earlier changes everything. It often means they can be simply and completely removed right there during the scope itself, meaning you avoid major life-altering surgery entirely. So, I want to leave you with one final vital question to think about. Are you explaining away subtle changes in your own body with plausible, easy excuses? And when was the last time you truly checked your baseline? Seriously, listen to your body. And whatever you do, don't let a convenient explanation keep you from getting checked.